like to look at the origin history of everyday things, things that are so much ingrained in our lives that we really don't usually take a look at where they came from. And this one that I'm going to share with you today is in particular very direct and to the point of an everyday item, because I'm going to look at how the calendar that we use today came about. Now, in this report, there are some really difficult names, so I ask that you bear with me on this, please. Until Dionysius, who was also known as Dennis the Short, came up with the Anno Domini AD system, there was no uniform way to number years. Europeans measured time from any number of benchmarks, like the founding of Rome, was referred to as AUC, short for the Latin ab verbi condita, or from the founding of the city, and the reign of Emperor Diocletian, and other even more obscure dates and events. In 1278 AUC, what did that mean again? The founding of the city of Rome. Pope John I asked Dennis the Short, the abbot of a Roman church and a respected scholar, to come up with a new calendar based on Jesus' birthday. This was really no easy task because no one knew exactly when the Lord Jesus had been born. Working from gospel accounts, official Roman records, and astrological charts, Dennis the Short finally settled on December 25th, 753 AUC. Theoretically, December 25th should have been the first day of Dennis's new calendar, but he started the year 8 days later on January 1st. The religious rationale was that if it was the feast of the circumcision, Jesus' 8th day of life, but more likely it was because January 1st was already New Year's Day in the Roman and Latin Christian calendars. Now, Dennis the Short called his first year 1 AD, and that made the current year 525 AD. The initial response to Dennis's calculations was overwhelming silence. No one used the new system for centuries. In fact, even he didn't follow his own chronology. He continued to use the AUC system, and it took more than 1,000 years for many countries to accept Dennis the Short's system, which is called incarnation dating. It was officially adopted by the Catholic Church at the Synod of Whitby in 664, but no one actually used it until the late 8th century, when a celebrated English historian known as Venerable Bede annotated the margins of a book with AD dating. This work was widely copied and is probably responsible for spreading knowledge of the system around Europe. AD dating was made universal at the Synod of Chalcedon in 816 AD, but it still wasn't widely used by many Catholic countries until the 12th century, and even later for other nations. Britain, for example, didn't even adopt the Gregorian calendar until 1752, and China accepted it for civil use in 1911. Hardly anyone today has heard of Dennis the Short, although his calendar is the international standard. In fact, the main reason he gets noticed isn't because of his achievements, but because of his screw-ups. Dennis made two fundamental mistakes. First, he got Jesus' birthday wrong. Jesus was probably born between 11 and 4 BC, and two, he started his calendar with 1 AD instead of 0. It's easy to understand why Dennis got Jesus' birthday wrong. After all, he didn't have much to go on, no reference books and no computer searches. But starting time with the year 1 goes against common sense. Logic dictates that we count a child's first birthday after a full year, when he or she is 1 year old, not when they're born. So why did Dennis the Short do it? Rashworth Kidder of the Christian Science Monitor speculates that nobody wanted to describe the first year of Christianity as a 0. But Stephen J. Gould says the answer is much simpler. Western mathematics in the 6th century had not yet developed the concept of 0. In other words, says futurist Josh Riddell, Dennis didn't really have any choice. He was a prisoner of history, like the rest of us.